Hey guys, how are you today? I'm doing okay. I didn't mean for that to sound ominous. I just am doing okay. Like, I'm not dying, but I could be better. So, you've read the title. I'm going to be talking about things that weren't on my 2023 bingo card. I promise that this will be the last video where I talk about this year because I'm sick of 2023 just as much as you are. I just wanted to do a silly, lighthearted video about it. Not that all of my other videos are serious in any sense, but I just wanted to do this, get this out there, and then move on and talk about some of the events that I feel. I don't know. I feel like these are all events that we experience together, but I feel like this won't get talked about. But yeah, this is just silly, crazy, goofy, wacky. And when I say like events that happen, when I say events that won't get talked about, I feel like people like you and me who are chronically online will talk about this, but all of the other 2023 events that are probably going to stick are the things that happened in celebrity culture, in media, but YouTube is such a weird thing because people talk about it and they know about it, but it doesn't really get the same amount of attention that all of the other pop culture things that happened of the year. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I need to go outside more, but I'm going to talk about it. And then it'll leave my mind and I'll never have to think about it again. Won't that be so nice? So, the first thing is the fucking sing along apology from the person who I'm not. I don't know. We all know who I'm talking about. I would normally say, like, I don't want to name this person because I don't want to give them any attention, but they already garnered enough attention. They're probably going to get attention from this for the rest of their life. So yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I remember I was sitting on my couch. I just got off work, got YouTube on my Roku like normal, was going to unwind. And I had been like hot on this Colleen Ballinger situation because I love commentary YouTube and I love I don't want to say I love because like it does suck that these situations happen, but I like learning about the circumstances around the situation. I don't maybe it's the same reason that people like true crime or they like criminal psychology, but I'm just really super invested in it whenever there's some YouTube controversy going on. Like I have to know the why, the who, the where, the how. My YouTube algorithm like that within the hour that she uploaded this video, it showed up on my recommended, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna watch this because maybe she'll actually address what's going on." Boy, howdy, was I in for a surprise. I don't know why I thought that. They never address what's going on. I don't know why I thought that this would be different, but I watched it in shock. Just I have to be crazy. This has to be a hallucination. I finally lost it. And then I called my partner and I was like, look at this shit. And he's like, what the fuck is this? And I said, this is her apology. And then I started laughing because it was so absurd. And he said, why are you watching this? Turn this off. And I said, it's like a train wreck. Like, I can't look away because I was just shocked. And everyone else was shocked because everyone and their mother did a reaction video to it. And I'm not mad. I know I watched every single one of those because I think we all collectively said there's no way that this could have happened, and it did. So yeah, that definitely wasn't on my bingo card, but we checked it off nonetheless. The next thing is the James Somerton situation. If anything, this humbled me a lot because I think that I am very naive, and while I think that I am not susceptible to like joining a cult. I do think that I am susceptible to misinformation. Everybody is. Like this whole situation just reminded me that you are not immune to propaganda, you're not immune to misinformation, and it reminded me that whenever I dive into a topic or I learn something from the internet to just double check that shit and research it because Jesus fucking Christ. I watched all in all because I think I found the YouTube algorithm graced me with James Somerton's videos, I think either this year or last year. And I think I watched all of like two videos by him. I remember I watched the Jeffrey Dahmer one, and then I watched another one that was horror related. But his videos were the kind that I sort of had to be in the mood for, and like I would add it to my watch later. So I didn't watch a lot of his stuff, but like I knew who he was and I liked his content. But when all of this shit came out, I was like, what? The queer video essay guy is evil? I don't want to say evil, but like, I don't know. Because my whole thought process was, why would someone put all this effort? Because you have to get the video equipment, you have to get an editor, you have to get a writer, and then you have to get an editor for the script. Like, why? You gotta get lights, you gotta get a cool aesthetic background. Like, why would someone put all this effort into it and then you don't put effort into the actual content? But scam artists exist in every single place all around us every day. I don't know why I thought that is the sum total of how I feel about that situation. I also just didn't expect him to drop off the face of the planet. I remember my partner made a joke about how he's in Barbados now. Because I showed him, I'm like, dude, he wiped his channel clean. It looks like, remember Google Plus, like with the circles and stuff? It looks like that. It doesn't even look like a YouTube channel anymore. It is wiped clean. And yeah, it was insane. And I don't know if you guys have seen H Bomber Guy's video, but I really appreciate that he didn't take, at least from what he said, and I'm sure he did. I'm not calling him a liar, but I feel like we all have trust issues after this year. But he said that he was going to take all of the money, all the AdSense money from that YouTube video and divide it amongst the writers that James Somerton plagiarized. And I really appreciate that. I think that that's really great. And that does make me feel a little bit better because with people like the Colleen Ballinger situation or the Illuminati, it just feels like this endless conflict and endless hurt and endless trauma that doesn't get resolved. But I feel like this is the one thing that had just the littlest, tiniest, itsy bitsy bit of resolve to it. And that that's nice. But again, not on my fucking bingo card. Next thing, What We Do in the Shadows getting canceled. I am really upset about this because What We Do in the Shadows is one of my favorite all-time shows. And I have been watching the show for a long time, and I feel like I have seen the growth in its popularity. And maybe it is just the algorithm learning about me. Maybe I'm not that observant. Maybe it is just Maybelline. But I truly feel like the show has done nothing but become more and more popular. More of the sounds and the more of the iconic lines and the sounds and the character interactions are becoming really popular on TikTok and Instagram. It just seemed to me like the show was in the height of its popularity. There's no way it could get canceled. And then on Christmas Eve, through Harvey Gullivan's Instagram, I found out that it's fucking canceled. And at the time, mind you, I wasn't super upset because I had just learned and watched a bunch of videos about Palestine and Gaza and all of the horrendous shit that is coming out of that, and I was just really upset. I was upset. I was, how do you grieve that unfathomable amount of grief. I was really just not in a great place. And then I found that out and I was like, all right, well, thanks 2023. You disappointed me you really got into the final quarter and then disappointed me once again. Thank you. And at the time I didn't have spoons to care, but now I have a spoon and my spoon is upset. My spoon is empty. My spoon is I'm like I just want to hit someone with my spoon because why the fuck would you cancel this show? It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I don't really know what to say. I hope that Guillermo and Nandor finally get together after they teased it the entire fucking show. I do think that it is super weird that Will finally became a vampire, but he realized he didn't want to be a vampire. I thought it was an interesting writing choice, but it's so weird to have such a pivot in the story with this final. Like, it's so weird to have a huge pivot in the story like that, and then it's gonna be the final season, and that's it. That's all you get. Doesn't make sense to me. But then again, everything is being rebooted, so I don't doubt that this show might come back, or it might come back on a different platform. I have hope. I don't think that anything truly dies anymore. Moving on, because now I'm gonna get sad about it. Next thing was Millie Bobby Brown coming out with a book. And if you don't know, the book is called 19 Steps. And the subject matter is like a love triangle during World War II. And I'm always really conflicted about these historical fiction books. Not that I don't read historical fiction, I like historical fiction sometimes, but whenever there's a love triangle, and I'm not stupid. Of course people got together during World War II. Like, of fucking course. We have people now. There wouldn't be any people now if they didn't. But it's just a little weird that the story is about someone seeking shelter, and it just feels like it's kind of shoved in. I didn't read the book, but it's like it's I don't know. It feels like you're just making a sandwich and you put so much shit in there that now it's all falling out. But I don't know, the subject matter just seemed kind of jarring and odd to me. And I'm not saying that I don't think that Millie Bobby Brown is capable of writing a book like that. It's just 2023. In 2023, there were a lot of celebrity memoirs, even the year prior, and it seemed like if she was going to write a book, it would have been a memoir. And I know and she's young, and that seems kind of silly to write a memoir when you're that young, but she's lived a life. Like, if you think about it, she has lived a life that is super unique to anything that we've ever experienced. And even if it wasn't specifically about her life, it could be something about that maybe she'd come out with something that was like behind the scenes of Stranger Things or something along those lines. I didn't expect her to write a like historical fiction. I guess I was right in not expecting that of her because the real scandal of it all was that she didn't even write it. She used a ghostwriter. And I personally don't care about ghostwriting. My opinion on this might change, but I feel like if you have the means and the money to do it, like you have a really creative idea, but you don't have the technical skills, then sure, use a ghostwriter. What's gonna happen? There might be some other ethical things that I'm not aware of when it comes to ghostwriting, but I don't have a problem with it. I think if you find someone who's willing to write your story and not take the credit for it, and then you have someone who's willing to shell out the money for it, then Sure, go ahead, whatever. I mean, she is probably super fucking busy. I kind of understand him, but I also don't understand why people get so shocked when celebrities don't write their books. To me, I kind of just expect it, and I'm a little shocked when celebrities actually write their books. No, I'm not surprised. It still wasn't on my 2023 bingo card. The main thing that I'm most shocked about is Dan and Phil Games coming back. That shit sent me. I'm really happy about it. Don't get me wrong, but I just thought it would never happen. I thought that that channel was dead. That was a thing of my past, and all I would have is memories, right? But it came back, and they got Jacksepticeye to play a priest at the funeral. Like, and keep in mind, both of them came out of the closet before they brought this channel back. This is not the timeline that I thought they would take. I'm glad they took it, but this is not the order that I thought that events would go in, and that's why it's on my bingo. That's why it wasn't on my bingo card, because it's just really baffling. Like, they literally both came out of the closet before Dan and Phil Games came back. 16-year-old me is having an aneurysm right now. On my bingo card is a little unpleasant. It's the Kate Corinne. I don't know if that's how you say their name. That whole can of worms, that whole situation. I'm not going to go into it in detail here because it's so insane. But With Cindy did a really good video about it, covering everything. If you don't know, the TLDR is that this woman made a bunch of fake Goodreads accounts and was massively 1-star reviewing books that I believe were from the same publishing company. Like, the authors were under the same publisher as her, and they all coincidentally were authors of color, but she's not racist. Every single person that she 1-star reviewed was a author of color, but she's not racist. It's not her. Um so that was weird. That was a little jarring. I'm not super surprised because Book Talk always has, like, the bookish community is weird. I don't really interact with it a lot, even though I'm a reader. I like to read and I like to talk about books and review them. I watch booktubers, but I stay in my lane because there's so much. I'm really waiting for someone to do an iceberg video about all the shit that's going on with that because it's fucking insane. The fact that Book Talk has the publishing industry in a chokehold is absolutely crazy to me. And I'm going to move on because I'm afraid that they're going to come hear me and come out of the floorboards and attack me. So we're going to move on. Getting another Studio Ghibli film was not on my 2023 bingo card, but I am so glad that it happened. I really wasn't expecting Hayao Miyazaki to make another film. I don't know why. We can't stop this man. But I thought that I don't know what the title of the film is, but it's the one about the caterpillar that you can only see at the Studio Ghibli park. I thought that that was truly going to be his last film. Like, oh, he, you know, learned about CGI and he worked with that and that was his final endeavor. But no, he came out with a whole ass film and I cried and I love it. And I was like, all right, like, this is the last film. I'm glad I was alive to see it. And then he comes out and he's like, you know what? Let's do another one. And it's going to be a sequel to Nausicaa Valley of the Wind. I hope I'm saying that right. But that's what allegedly is happening. And I'm just like, all right, well, at least it's good news. it's like it's crazy, but I'm happy it's happening. Um the other thing, I kind of forgot that this happened in 2023, but the TikTok trial situation, I don't know a lot about it, so I'm not going to talk about it in extent, but when they were deciding on whether or not TikTok would be banned, and we had all of those gems of videos making fun of people who don't understand how technology works, like him having to explain that the app needs to see your face if you're gonna have a filter and put fake sunglasses on. The app needs to see your face. Or this one person who was making fun of it, and they're like, how much is a TikTok, yes or no? I think about that on loop in my head. Like, that's, I don't know if you guys do the same thing, but I have vocal stems that I say, but then there's also like stems in my head that are just little things that play on my head on loop, on repeat. And how much is a TikTok, yes or no? It's so funny. I don't know why, but that's like peak comedy to me. I fucking love that. And then the final thing that I was never expecting, saying this sentence feels AI generated. I would have never guessed this. There was no way it could be on any of my bingo cards, past, present, future. There's no way. But I was so invested in this that I called my friend and I said, "Oh, do you know about this?" And they said no, and I called them to explain it to them. And I was on the phone with them for like 3 hours. It was a 7 hour phone call, mind you. But the first 3 hours was just me explaining the situation because I was so zoned in on it and obsessed with it for absolutely no fucking reason. The final thing is Nicholas Cantu beating the absolute shit out of Dream and Dream beefing with him. That shit, that is one of, I'm not gonna lie, like that is one of the highlights of my year. And I don't condone violence, I would just like to say. However, I do support the I do support Nicholas Cantu. I I fucking love him. Like, all of the memes that my friends sent me that was like videos from the Amazing World of Gumball just beating the shit out of somebody, and they like superimpose Dream's little mask thing. That's fucking hilarious to me. And I don't know if you guys have seen the video that came out that Dream leaked, that is from God knows how long ago, where Nicholas Cantu is intoxicated of some sort, and he's like, I am the Michelangelo of my time. A statue will be erected in my honor, covered in gold, while you were lost in the sands of time. That shit is so funny, and I know it's not funny, but I quote that entire video and Nicholas's monologue. I quote that to my partner at least once a day because I think it's so funny. Like, he'll just be looking at me and he's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I am the Michelangelo of my time. And I just, everything about this I fucking eat up. I remember I was watching Dream, he was responding to some comments and he's like, yeah, Raphael from the Ninja Turtles. And I'm like, first of all, incorrect. Your argument is invalid. He is not Raphael, he is Leonardo. You are so bad at this, you couldn't even get your insult right. I don't know, I just love memeing on Dream because the every here's the thing, all right, here's my personal beef with Dream. I knew nothing about this man at all. The reason why I know anything about him is because of his face reveal. And it was such a whiplash from first having to learn who the fuck Dream was because of a face reveal, so having to through social osmosis learn all of that, and then almost immediately finding out that he was a fucking groomer. I need Dream to pay my hospital bill because the whiplash. Every time I have a migraine, I think it's Dream's fault. And I'm waiting for my medical compensation. But yeah, I love Nicholas Cantu. I ate up this whole situation. I think it's fucking insane. Was not on my bingo card, but so happy it happened. And I feel like I can say this with. I feel like I can say this, and this shouldn't be a controversial statement, but if you if you see a guy with minors, um, feel free to take whatever action you feel is appropriate at the time. And that's how I feel. Protect children. And yeah, Nicholas Cantu is one of my favorite people because of that. And I remember that I remember not to drag it out more, but I remember the little caption to that video was Dream saying that he was ableist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, all of this. And me and my partner watched the video, and he's like, "Where was he anti-Semitic?" I said, "I guess I don't know. Is Dream Jewish? I guess that's where the anti-Semitism comes from. I don't understand." And then he said, "And how is he being ableist?" And I said, "I guess he said that he was gonna beat him up so hard that he would be paralyzed, but like that's not ableism. That's just a threat. That is just." Like, that is just a result of the actions that will take place if you continue your shit. I like being able to sit down with my partner and dissect the situation is now one of my core memories. And like, maybe it's not appropriate. Maybe it is not kosher. Maybe it is not correct. But I don't know. I like it when people get called out for the shit that they shouldn't be doing, and I like it when people take action against that. And yeah, I just thought it was a silly, goofy time. And those were all of the silly, goofy things that happened this year that were not on my bingo card in any fucking way. Um, I'm not really looking forward to, but I'm curious to see what silly, goofy things happen this year. I don't know how they could fucking top 2023, but I sincerely hope that they don't. Like, thinking back to the first thing I talked about, I sincerely hope that we have a tender and mild lemon pepper seasoned year and it's just fine. And things are just fine. I wish for your year to be fine. You have a good time. Nothing's too crazy. So let's all move forward into 2024 and just have a good time. All right. Bye, guys. It's Future Me, and I just want to say that this might be the worst coloring I have ever done. It's actually like really ugly and I hate it. And I thought about redoing it, but then I thought, what a perfect metaphor for this video. We go in with good intentions, but things are just silly and goofy. So I decided to keep it. And sometimes you gotta show the ugly parts as well. Like, not everything I'm gonna do is gonna be a masterpiece, and that's okay. It's okay to do stuff you're not proud of. It's okay to do stuff that is mildly upsetting. Like, why? I guess I just thought that, like, her skin was gonna be like this nice light blue, but it looks bad. I was going for like a Statue of Liberty type of thing, or like a, I don't know. It's just bad. It's just bad. It doesn't matter. Intent doesn't matter. It's actions and results. But like, it's so ugly. Don't look at it.